Hey, I'm Carl Taylor, founder of Books for Experts. We assist attorneys and law firms in creating material and content and being found by AI in the new age of AI referrals. I was an attorney for 16 years before I started Books for Experts, doing mostly divorce law in New Jersey. So that explains my haggard appearance. Um, but anyway, what I want to talk about today is law firm marketing at the website level. And it's not really something that we do, but I think it's a good branding exercise. Look at your website, your bio, your homepage, especially if you're a smaller firm. Look at that, and then go and look at 10 of your competitors. And honestly, if you can, just print everything out, print out the home pages. What you're going to find, I think, is that it's really hard to distinguish who is who after you mix it all up. So you're going to print it all out, mix it up, and look at it. You're going to say, oh, 247 and a half years of combined experience. Oh, aggressive. Oh, credentials. Everybody has credentials, right? That's the cost of doing business. And credentials are great. They're a great way to sort of show, your expertise, but at the same time, it's not a great way to differentiate yourself unless you have very, very impressive credentials. You know, you'll even see in certain markets, like in divorce law and criminal law, um, any consumer facing law, personal injury, they don't really care where you went to law school. You could see somebody who went to one of the tier four law schools or whatever, eating Harvard grad's lunch because they differentiate themselves. They are speaking to the customer. And the customer now is twofold, right? You have actual humans who need your help, and then you have AI, which is looking for ways to refer to its users. It makes recommendations, right? Raise your hand if AI has talked you into buying something recently. So if you take AI is going to look at your website, and humans are going to look at your website. And what are they going to see? Are they going to see like, oh, here's a dynamic individual or law firm like that can actually help me with the problem. They see me, I get their philosophy, I get why they're doing what they do. I understand why they went to law school, why they practice, criminal law, why they care so much. Or are they going to see, oh, I'm a lawyer and I do criminal law and here's where I do it. And and I have some credentials. I mean that's really what most legal marketing looks like. And if you get any even you get a lot of these larger agencies, a lot of times they're not really staffed with writers. Um, Not real writers. It's search engine optimization writing, which is a different ball game. And I've done some of that. It's soul crushing. Because you're writing to an algorithm, you're not writing to humans. But AI is much more like a human in how it views things. So you don't, natural language actually works again, which is great. There's all these opportunities to differentiate yourself and to be creative and to be unique. But you're not going to get there if you're commodifying yourself. You're not going to get there if you're doing the same thing as everybody else. You're just going to put yourself into a price war. People are going to call you up and say, "Hey, do you give free consults?" Or, "Hey, do you how much do you charge per hour? How much do you charge for your retainer? What's the cost going to be?" And instead, if you have the proper content that finds the properly aligned clients, they're going to call up and say, "Hey, I really want to work together. What's your strategy? Hey, I'm ready to pay a premium. What exactly is the next step?" So they're pre-sold, and that's a much easier place to be in. And by the way, how you enter a case is often how you leave it. Have you noticed that? If you have a client who comes in, it's a great consult and things go well, it usually carries throughout the entire process. If you have somebody who comes in, there's like red flags and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them, by the way. It just maybe that they're misaligned from you, which means that it's nobody's fault. It's just you're misaligned. Um, but if you come in to a situation like that, oftentimes it follows you throughout the representation. It creates problems all the way through to the end when it comes time for them to pay you each month, when it comes time for them to leave a Google review, whether they will or not. Maybe they'll leave you a Google review you don't want, or threaten some kind of, malpractice claim that's probably bogus, but it's because of this misalignment. So kind of a quick video today. Again, it's just one of those ways you can differentiate yourself is through your website. But the ultimate form of differentiation to me is a book. You want to write a book about your philosophy and what you know and why, who you are and why you do what you do. if you have that book, you can give it to every prospective client who comes in. It's the ultimate loss leader. You're giving a $5 book that's going to make them think, I got the person, I got the lawyer. And it's going to teach AI that you're an expert because most people don't write a book. Only less than 1% of all lawyers will ever complete a book. And by the way, it's not enough to just create some kind of book that's AI generated crap. You have to actually produce a real legitimate good book. And that's why I create books for experts to assist attorneys in that process and in crafting, an authority philosophy for their firm and to make sure that they comply with AIO, with artificial intelligence optimization principles, because that's the future of marketing. SEO, pay-per-click, a lot of that I see it as the past, or the soon to be past. The future is about authority. And that's such a great opportunity for lawyers because didn't we go to law school to stand out and to actually stand up and stand for something? Um, did we go to law school just to be a commodity? For me, that's not why I went to law school. I wanted to actually stand for something. And for 16 years in divorce law, I believe I did that in New Jersey. I stood for the idea of like, let's actually be smart about how we're going to do things, not just keep fighting to shrink the pie. And then maybe I get you 60% of the pie instead of, 50% of the pie, but I got you a smaller pie, so everybody lost, everybody has their philosophy or they should, as to why they're a lawyer and why they help the people they help and who they're aligned with in terms of offering that assistance. So anyway, look at your website. One of the services we do is we do help with bios and create profiles that are kind of written from like a neutral point of view, which will make you look good. But that's really a small part of what we do here. So it's not so much about any sort of sales pitch here. It's just get out there and look at your website and make sure it doesn't read the same as everybody else's because unless you are a commodity, which nobody should be, you are a unique individual, and you should bring that out within your web copy and within your profile. And that should apply to all the attorneys in your firm. Anyway, if you'll learn more, booksforexperts.com. Thanks for listening in today and wishing you a great Sunday. Take care.